Um, that brings us to Saturday night's game 6 between the Rangers and Panthers. Florida's won 2 on the spin to go 3-2 up against the Blue Shirts. They're at home as a minus 170 favorite, plus 140 for the Rangers right now. Total here is 5.5. The series line has ballooned, as you'd imagine. Florida's now minus 490. Rangers sitting at plus 365. It wasn't as drastic, but it felt like more of the same in game 5, right? It was the Rangers had a decent enough start, as Nick and I were talking before. Like it wasn't as if the Rangers came out and just dominated the Panthers, but they skated with them better than they did for the majority of the last 2 games in Florida. They got a lot of credit for it, got out to a lead. Panthers come back, end up winning it, and Florida was just a whole letter grade better than them in the third period too. Like the Panthers went out and won that game. And this has been the story of this entire series, but it doesn't change the fact, I think, and Tim, I don't know if we'll be on the same page here again, that with Igor Shesterkin in the form he's in, with the Rangers in this insane run of just being able to hang around in games in which they are, white knuckling through it, I still think that if you're going to bet a side here, like to me, like I would take the Rangers because they'll probably just be there at the end. Like it might not. They might not end up winning. It might not go to overtime, but I still think that this game, like the Rangers are, it's really hard to see the Rangers getting put away, Nick. So I think at plus 140, it looks like the Rangers.
Yeah, I think I have to agree after, which maybe sounds like a little surprising because I feel like we've really been ragging on the Rangers and picked against, like I've picked against them the last 2, which I'm kind of cutting it there. I think we've seen enough. I don't think the Panthers are going to like own more of the play than they did in those 2 games. I think you're going to see the Rangers go out swinging here a little bit. So, and even then, it's still been a sweat, right? Like I was not thrilled that I laid minus 165 last time in Florida. I thought tonight getting minus 115 was pretty good, but like this game, it just feels like a really ugly spot to lay minus 170. I feel like you kind of saw the Rangers stabilize a little bit tonight. I thought their lineup made more sense. I feel like they, overall made a case that you're probably not going to want to go against them. The bet that I like, I think that it's a good spot to go back to the under. I mean, tonight it shouldn't even been the sweat that it was. And I think that it's maybe
almost got bad.
It almost got really bad. I was getting ready for another empty netter and a loss, but in the end, it still probably shouldn't have even had 5 goals in it. So I think that it's a solid bet here. I think the first period under lines aren't out yet, but I would play. It was minus 125 tonight. I would play minus 130 because I'd assume it'll be slightly more juiced after tonight's game. But I think that's the way to target this one. I think you're going to see the New York kind of lock it down. And none of their defensive breakdowns are really getting exposed, or very few of them, because Shesterkin just continues to be on everything. And the Panthers are defending at a really, really high level. Like, I think that's part of the thing for the Rangers. I'm not going to say it sucks for their forwards, because this is, if you're those guys, you want to be able to step up and win those minutes. But I think that's kind of become the story of this series, is that ultimately Barkov, Reinhart, Tkachuk, all those Panthers forwards, they're just so good in every zone. And the Rangers guys, I don't think you can quite say the same. I don't think you can expect, Panner and Zibanejad, Kreider to win minutes versus the Panthers' top 6. So I just feel like we're going to continue to see the Rangers having a tough time generating much at even strength. And I think that should lend itself to a hopefully another pretty low event game. So yeah, I think the under is a good look in this one.
Yeah, I agree. I bet the under immediately, and first period as well, Nick, when that comes out, and then the Leboff special, the sprinkle on the 0-0. I think that's like how you make yourself a good little Saturday when this
no
game
goal
happens.
first 10 solid too. I played no goal first 10 tonight, and it was even money. So I think that could be a decent look too. I feel like teams come out so conservative if you can avoid like kind of a fluky one. I like that look as well.
Yeah, give all a little piece on those things. And yeah, Leboff, I'm in the same boat as you, man. I mean, if you think about it, that game 4 where we had a in-depth, conversation, it's the same line pretty much. And we were just talking about all those factors, right? We had just seen Florida come off a dominant game. We're like, but hey, the Rangers, if things go right, Shesterkin, timely scoring, they're gonna be in the game. Well, that game goes to overtime. And if you had plus 140 going on overtime, you're feeling pretty good, right? That's a shot I'd like to have. And I think it's the same formula. If I was forced to pick a side, I might end up doing it by puck drop half unit on the Rangers, just because of all those things you outlined, Leboff. To back a goalie like the form Shesterkin's in right now, that plus money makes you feel pretty good. But I'm for sure, like I said, already on that under, and I think it's low event, low scoring. It's funny the way like it's almost like Florida, because of the way Shesterkin's playing, they lock it up defensively and they're like, we'll eventually, break Shesterkin, we'll get one or two. Then the Rangers do a thing where they're just waiting for their opportunity, and it is not really happening, right? I mean, they get the short end of goal. Like, it's a very staring contesty type thing right now. And Florida kind of by default because of the way Shesterkin's playing, but the Rangers are kind of the way they want to play too.
One thing that's pretty crazy is we've highlighted the defensive breakdowns for the Rangers a little bit the past couple nights, and there's plenty of them. And the Panthers are getting like half breakaways. It seems every 5 minutes they'll get a 2-on-1 or a half breakaway. I don't think Florida scored on an on-man rush yet this series. ESPN flashed a stat that Igor had stopped 45 rush chances. And I might be wrong on this, but in my recollection, I think the rush goal that he gave up technically was the Tkachuk goal, the first goal of the series. That's because I think that was like a half 3-on-2 where he was. Yeah. And so it's not like they've Paul Maurice put it perfectly. I thought he's like, they've left so much offense on the table. And I don't even think he's just talking about the goaltending, right? Like he's just talking about some pucks that have bounced on them and such. So it's been such a weird series to handicap because everyone can see how it's going, but at the same time, like there's a boogeyman out there. Still, like the goaltender for the Rangers is still the great equalizer here. And then if you're asking if you should bet the series price right now, I'm just looking. I see plus 365. I think you'd get a better price just rolling it, assuming the Rangers close around where they were tonight, which was what minus 10. They were like hanging around minus 105. I think that's probably where we'll see Game 7. So you get a slightly better price just doing a rolling parlay if you're interested in that angle instead. But yeah, I do think that if you're betting a side here, the one bet I do like for the Panther side, I bet this as well tonight. Barkov that line didn't have a great game, I didn't think tonight. Like they were a little quieter than they had been for a little while, but he's been on it for most of the series. He's had a lot of good looks. He's hanging like plus 2,300, so 23-1 to score twice, and that's something I'm probably going to go to again as well.
Talk about a guy who's just due to break open.
Yeah. I mean, he had that huge series with the against the Bruins and has just not had as much luck, I think.
That would be like the best outcome left. I do think
the other. So before
I was going to say the one last thing I would say, I'm still going to go back to saying too, if you are a Rangers believer, Shesterkin's like 13-1 to win the Conn Smythe now, which I just continue to think even tonight's game, I think is another like game where we're just talking about him gaining on any other Rangers skater. I think there's like almost no chance that it's ever not. I just play that.
Even like every other Ranger skater should be 100-1 because
you're probably almost more likely you'd lose to like McDavid if they win in that and the Rangers. You know what I mean? Like I honestly think it'd almost be more likely that the Rangers would win the cup and that it would be someone on the other side, and that's not going to happen because he's been so good. So
I get what you're saying. Like it's Igor or nothing. So that's a good shout too. So if you are interested in Ranger comeback, and then you're sitting on basically a 13-1 ticket to them.
If you want if you want a Rangers player, you got to bet in the Cup final. You just take a bunch of forward flyers, like a hat trick every game. That's what it's gonna take. Just take like Trocheck, Kreider, hat trick.
Right, roll the Kreider hat trick over and over and over again.
Yeah, that's what it's gonna take.
Seriously. All right, that'll do it. So before we get out, we'll do a quick round. Go around the horn. We'll snap it around for our favorite bets for the next two games. Nick, you can go first.
I'm going to go with the Oilers money line for my best bet. I think this is just a great price and a spot where I'm happy to bet them.
Love it. Tim? I will go with the under Panthers Rangers. Game 6 under 5.5.
Okay, and I'll go with the first period under half a goal. I should have noted that I'm going to be betting that one again in Panthers Rangers. Hopefully, it's still hanging out there at like 3-1 by the time we get there. But I like it in both games. Okay, well that'll do it for this episode. We will be recording again on Sunday night if one of these series goes 7. But besides that, you could catch us on Power Plays, and we'll likely be recording Sunday or Monday to do a Stanley Cup final if one of these games series doesn't go to 7. Either way, you'll be hearing from us on the other side of the weekend. For Tim and Nick, I'm Michael. Best of luck with all your bets.